皆さんこんにちは。AnyVisaのコウです。弊社AnyVisaでは起業家の方が申請をされる永住権のカテゴリーのスタートアップビザというカテゴリーをですね多くサポートをさせていただいているんですが、前回他のスタートアップビザに関する動画をですねアップロードしてから日本からも多くの方のお問い合わせをいただいております。そこで今日はですねスタートアップビザ申請の際にですね最も多くですね審査が通らない理由5つをですねトップ5をアレックスの方に解説していただきたいと思います。
I would start with language because language requirement is a fundamental one. And simply put, if you don't have an IELTS test, and by the way, it must be IELTS general, not IELTS academic. People sometimes confuse about that. And when you don't have IELTS test, and it's not much, but if you don't have it, you cannot even proceed. And sometimes people start and they prepare and they invest money in business and do this and that, and then they end up with nothing because they don't have language test. That's number one. But it's easily preventable because you either have test or not, right? So you better try it first. And we always recommend people, okay, before you start, why don't you pass the test? Because the test is valid for 2 years and it's sufficient time. Another reason, I would say significant reason, is the financial one. Because government, for this program, government is not asking for much money to prove. We don't have verification of funds, which is very important for people. Don't have verification of funds because if they do have to prove, it's hard for them. For this program, the requirement is very low. It's settlement funds, they call it, and it's segregated by the composition of the family. If you're a solo applicant, is one thing, and then it goes with the spouse and kids, but that requirement must be maintained for 6 months prior to submission for PR. And people sometimes come in and say, yeah, I have money, but we're asking for bank statements and they don't have it. So that might be a problem. About medical is a good thing to notice because obviously maintaining health is one thing, but fitting the requirements of the immigration to Canada from the perspective of medical inadmissibility, it's a very, very serious point. And people must consider not only themselves, but their spouses and their kids. Because if the law said if your family member is unhealthy, you can be rejected based on medical inadmissibility as well. Okay, and the last one, rarely we hear about that in countries like Japan or other what we call developed economies. But sometimes people come in, they have criminality, and criminality obviously is an obstacle. And the biggest problem of all is misrepresentation. And if you allow, I can spend probably 1 minute just on misrepresentation alone, because misrepresentation is a thing when you lie on application, and people can lie without any intention of lying. For example, you filed application before 3 years ago, and you forgot about it, and you said something, and in this application you presented like it's absolute truth. And immigration, when they receive your application this time, what they do, they always take your previous applications and they compare. And if they don't match, they say that's misrepresentation of information, of data. They don't care why you do that. Okay, that's important. People say, oh, I can explain. There is nothing to explain. Misrepresentation, if they reject based on that, 5-year ban. That's a very dangerous offense. 5-year ban you can forget about, and there is no appeal. There is no appeal, and if there is no appeal, people get rejected. 5-year ban, no exception. That's harsh, but that's the system. Okay, so last on the list I would say is idea. Sometimes people come into us and saying, well, we got rejected because we came up with the idea and government said it's not very strong idea. Well, of course, because this is startup visa program. So everything is based on innovative idea. And I remember one candidate that came to us with you and we discussed that together, and I believe candidate had at that time I think good idea for restaurant. But restaurant is something that people can build anywhere. We call it conventional business, right? You have a recipe, you have an idea for certain cuisine and you build it, and there is nothing innovative about that. So what we discuss with that person is modification of how her skills in culinary art can be executed in innovative direction. Maybe another application, maybe another website, maybe another software product that can be related to culinary arts of some sort, who knows, but not straightforward traditional business. That's not supported by startup visa program. Innovative component. So idea must be there, and idea must have innovative component. When those things match, perfect. We have a case. We're talking about situation when people form in a team, like you and I, we have idea in mind, and I'm behind marketing and you behind development, and we both want to build a business, right? In this case, obviously, we both in this together. So the problem with startup visa program, people sometimes underestimate that. If you fail, my case fail as well. If I fail, your case fail as well, because we are the team. This is very critical, because people sometimes say, telling us, well, I don't really care what happened to my partner. No, you have to care, because if your partner is rejected, the whole team is rejected. Okay, so that's very serious situation. So it's a great program. It's a great program, but people have to consider all those facts to avoid rejection.
いかがだったでしょうか。冒頭でも申し上げました通り、現在日本からもですね、スタートアップビザの申請に関するお問い合わせを多くいただいております。これからですね、カナダで起業されたい方、あるいはカナダ移民をですね、日本から目指されている方はですね、お気軽にスタートアップビザに関してですね、お問い合わせをいただければと思いますので、AnyVisaのウェブサイトからですね、お問い合わせいただければと思います。それではまた別の動画でお会いしましょう。どうもありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。